She said hello. When you're not prepared. When
I know, I've been here this whole time and I'm not even ready.
When you slid in here, but you're already ready and you've been here for 20 minutes.
I know, I just keep doing this. When I walked in the door, I went...
Is that your thing now?
It's not.
It's not.
It's really not supposed to be, but...
Is it like a nervous tick?
Mm-hmm. I was about to say, it's like exactly the same as like, you know how you just do peace signs in every pic because you just like freeze up and you're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and so you throw
it's
up
like
the peace sign. The equivalent of that.
It just came out and I can't stop it.
Weak, that's what he said. Welcome to another episode of She Well Read Baddies. I am your host, Alana.
I'm Samra.
And per usual, we've all the shenanigans. But today, y'all, this is like, it's not his story. I'm being dramatic. But it's a pretty big deal. Samra was here for this recording before I was. Like, I pulled up at 6:30. She's been here.
Yes, I have.
It was on accident, though. But
don't rat me out, bitch. Okay, I was here early. I planned for this.
With your snacks. Girl, she had time to go to the corner store and get some snacks. That's how long she was here before me.
Shout out to Southside Market.
I'm so weak. Speaking of shout outs, follow us everywhere at She Well Read. Follow us on YouTube at She Well Read. Stream us up. Put your comments in.
Yeah.
Subscribe. Scary stories. We need y'all scary stories. We've gotten a few in already, but we need more. The deadline for that, I'm putting it as the 21st, so this Friday.
Yeah. Love it.
And y'all, you can even send us audio clips. Like, it doesn't even have to be a typed out story. We can put the audio clip up and that, like, a bunch of audio clips together, and like that's a scary story episode. I just thought of that on the way here.
That would be fun.
Wouldn't it?
Somebody should do that.
Yeah, and like preview to scary stories. I was actually just coming from my mentorship class, and my mentor, shout out to Robin at TPA, she just came back from Oahu with her husband for their anniversary, and she was telling me, because I was like, we need scary stories, and she was telling me about they were at this graveyard, this abandoned World War II graveyard, and it was infested with feral chickens.
What?
Right?
Feral?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know. She was like, we swore at one point we thought the chickens were going to try to like take our car and like go.
The
chickens, because they kept crowding around their car, and there was like 50 chickens.
Stop.
And it's like an abandoned cemetery, like in the oddest place. She said she's going to send me pictures, so I'll share that with y'all when she sends them.
Please, because what the actual, I need to see this. And do they just like travel as a mob?
I guess they flock. Yeah, they're like it's a flock. Yeah, a flock of mob chickens.
It's literally like the mafia.
The little chicken mafia.
The chicken
3-6 chick mafia.
3 chick mafia.
3 chick mafia. I was like, that didn't sound. That's better. 3 chick mafia.
I mean, you set it up. For me,
and you hit the bat. Yeah.
I did. Bro.
So yeah, send us it literally doesn't have to be this well thought out whatever thing. It could be like an experience you had that just gave you the heebie-jeebies freaky. Yeah. Send it all. You can send it to shewellread@gmail.com. You can DM us on Instagram, Twitter, put a comment on the YouTube, send us a voice recording on Instagram or wherever. I don't know if you can do voice recordings on Twitter. I don't think you can. But I know you can on Instagram. So do that. Or you can even do a voice memo on your phone and email it to us, shewellread@gmail.com. But yes, we are super excited for Scary Story season.
I know.
Okay, and so I'm going to let you do the next one. Next one's all you, boo.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so this is the wrong day to do it because my hair looks a mess. But if you are a curly hair girl and you live in the Southeast, speaking of curls, there's one on my
on the mic.
Hey, girl. Yeah, if you're a curly girl and you live in the Southeast, the girl that does my hair, her name is Kisa. She love Kisa. She's the best. She goes by Coda Curls on Instagram, CODA, and that stands for Child of a Deaf Adult.
Yeah, it's like the Yeah, I know what you were. Yeah, anywho.
I was trying to do some, but anyway, she is really bringing light to some things within the hair care salon industry that I didn't know about, and I don't feel like are touched on very often, but there are real people with disabilities who need to get their hair done, and some of them are deaf. And a lot of people have bad experiences in salons because there's like a lack of understanding. Accessibility. So if you do know anyone who's in need of services that are deaf friendly when it comes to curly hair or any type of hair really, because she's fantastic.
And I'm sure she could connect you with resources even if she's not the point of contact.
That's true. I'm sure she has like a library of contacts that can help you if you live wherever. Or at least, you know, she can walk you through. She does the best tutorials on Instagram
and TikTok.
And she is also a season 3 sponsor.
Yes.
So we're super happy to have Kisa on board. Stay tuned for social posts about it. If that's easier, you can just click on that.
Yeah.
And we love you, Kisa.
Yes, thank you for supporting the show. We just did our Instagram post for Be Rooted, so go check them out.
So cute.
Yes, use code SheWellRead for 15% off your purchase. And like I promised from last episode, I brought in the stuff of the Cure hydration packets. Thank you, Cure, for sending these to us. Use our code. I believe it's SheWellRead 20 or SheWellRead 15.
SheWellRead 20.
SheWellRead 20. You can check us on that. It's linked in our milkshake, in our bio, everywhere. If you just go under Cure, it'll take you straight with our link, or you can use the code. It's listed on there as well. Another affiliate we have is Libro FM, which, like we said before, they're kind of like a indie bookshop version, but with audiobooks. And we have a code and a link with them as well, which will be in the episode description and also in all of our bios everywhere. So yeah, support your local and indie bookstore. And something else I wanted to do, just because I was dabbling in our data, as you know I do.
Okay, data analyst.
Yes, I wanted to shout out all of our international listeners.
Oh, period.
Because every week I'm getting on there, and it's like a little contest of, what country is in the lead with downloads this week, like who's listened to us more.
Which countries?
Well, I wanted to shout out the top 10 since the last time I checked. These are the top 10. Shout out to Singapore, Germany, Belgium, India, Spain, Canada, Mexico, China, French Guinea, and the United Kingdom. Those are our top 10.
Make me take my map out. The non-existent map that I have.
Not Dora.
Back.
No, it's the map. It's the map. It's the map.
You know what I mean.
But it's in the backpack. Anywho.
Right.
Thank you, and shout out to all of our international listeners from wherever you are.
Oh
and
God.
We'd also love for you to tell us where you're listening. Yeah, tell us where you're listening from.
Please.
Write into us.
I want to know more. I would love to visit y'all. So just really,
she will run on an international tour.
Let's be friends. I'm here for that.
Oh my goodness. All right, so coffee break. Something that I wanted to talk about this week, which I think it's an interesting topic. And something that I've realized is when you talk about podcast stuff, like especially industry specific stuff, there's a very niche amount of people you can talk to about that.
Fair enough.
Because they're just like, like they're not in the world, they're not in it. But some of y'all may have seen, because this was a pretty big story, Spotify laid off a few of their shows, creators. They axed, I believe, 10 shows total, 10 Spotify originals. And so those creators, they don't own their show anymore.
No.
Some of them, they didn't even get to finish their seasons.
Oh, my God, stop.
Just with the layoffs and everything. And it just made me think about, something we talked about from the beginning was we never really have the desire to sell the show, even if we do become a part of a network.
Right.
We still want the rights to the show for stuff like this where, at least, if it was asked, can we finish out the season? Can we finish this out? It's out of your control.
That's so awful.
Yeah, and just creative rights and creative control. So, yeah. So,
That stuff's priceless, to be honest.
It is. And it's kind of that thing where those shows that did get axed, they were saying, we lost 3/4 of our listeners by becoming exclusive to Spotify. Because, even if you look at our download numbers, the majority of our folks come from Apple Podcasts. Mm-hmm. And there's like 1/3 of our listeners come from Spotify. It's a much smaller amount, which, speaking of, tell us where you're listening from. If you're using Apple Podcasts or if you're using Spotify.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You lose a whole section of your listenership because you're exclusive on this one platform. So it just got me thinking about that and how these types of deals, not even in the podcasting space, but in general, when you sign on to these big companies, like even when we were talking about artists and record labels, when you sign on to a label and now they like exclusively own the rights to your stuff, and how that can really work out to either your advantage or your detriment. It just really depends.
Yeah, that's honestly real.
So, yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one. It just makes me think about like if we ever got the opportunity to like sign on to someone like a Spotify or iHeartMedia or someone who would potentially want the rights to our show and everything we built for, this long time, and I don't think I would do it.
It'd have to be a very specific, it'd have to be a lucrative deal.
Very,
very lucrative.
Extremely.
So, but we can talk more about that off camera. But I think we're on the same page, though, for the most part.
Yeah. Like, this is my child.
Literally. And then speaking of, Spotify shows and everything, we're going to talk about a few of the new podcasts we're listening to.
Yeah.
Including Kim Kardashian's podcast. I started listening.
Okay.
And I have mixed feelings.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think the content and what they're trying to do is really good, but I think there's still a few bugs they need to work out.
Okay.
In terms of the flow of the show.
Interesting.
Because at some points it can be hard to follow.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, can you give an example?
Like, they'll play an audio clip and then Kim will be like, that was when they should have switched that, and Kim should have started saying, this is a clip from blah 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 blah, and this is who's talking and then play the clip.
Right. Introduce it.
And then like they flip flop between that in the episode, and it makes it kind of confusing to follow along. And then they repeat some stuff that we already knew, which I think sometimes you have to do, but they could do it in a better way. I
feel like the people around the Kardashians that work for them, I don't know, this is just my take, but I feel like they're a bunch of yes men. I don't feel like they're necessarily looking out for their best interests and really care about them as people, or I don't know. I just happen to be watching the show on
the new one on Hulu.
Yep, the Kardashians. Like you said, the new one. And the stylist is trash. I'm sorry, but Kim was like at Fashion Week and she was putting on these outfits, and I couldn't even disagree with Kanye when he was texting her, harassing her, like, you look stupid in that, because she didn't look good in that. You know what I mean? It's like a Prada fit, and she's like, well, I'm not a fashion girl body type that everybody can, but the way the stylist is not, trying to make it work.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought that was the whole point of having a stylist.
Right. So this is what happens when they're like doing the fitting. At least this is what we see on camera. Kim was wearing something, and it's like basically a Dickies workwear suit, but it's like leather.
Oh, okay.
But it's like baggy. So she just looks like a rectangle.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know, guys. I think this is a look. And then they go, yeah, that's it. Oh, there's no back and forth.
There's no like, oh, well, maybe if we do this.
There's no specifics.
It might elevate the look or like something like that.
There's no tailoring that I'm seeing.
Oh, that's interesting. Speaking of styling, though, I was out this weekend.
Okay.
And I was cold. And so I had these like kind of baggy jeans on. They were a little ripped, and I had a shirt underneath, but I had like my also jean jacket on that was like buttoned up a little bit out in the top, and I was walking across the street, like I thought I just looked like a bum, and I was like, I don't care because it's the end of the night and I'm cold and I'm just going to my car.
Right.
And this girl, she walks past me, she's like, I love this look, and I was like, thanks. Like, it was very unintentional,
That's
but
the best. That's
yeah,
the best.
I'm like, okay, not be making a fashion statement on accident.
She did a Canadian tuxedo on accident, y'all. That's a look.
That's a thing.
denim
That's
on
a term.
denim. Yeah, that's
see,
a vibe.
I don't. This is why I would need a stylist because I don't know these things.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just interesting, y'all.
Yeah, but anywho, check out our show. Let us know what you think about it, because I remember the first day it came out, I looked at the reviews, like the Spotify reviews. It was like a 3.3, and it was like thousands of reviews, but I think a lot of it was hate reviews.
Oh God.
Like I feel like it's gonna be really hard to measure like who is actually giving it a genuine 5-star or 1-star rating, because they could just be going on there just and be like, I'm gonna rate her 1 star.
It's biased.
Yeah, it's biased. So it's really gonna be the written reviews that I'm like gonna be like, okay.
Which that's another thing that Spotify needs to work on.
Yeah, written reviews.
You can see the written ones, right?
You can only rate it like however many stars. Only on Apple Podcasts can you
can't even
see.
write one. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So anywho, if you're a producer on Kim Kardashian's podcast and want to hear my hot takes, email us at shewillread@gmail.com.
Somebody from the Kardashian family email me about styling.
I'm so
please.
weak. Another podcast that I've been listening to is called Mind Flowers with Ashlyn.
Oh, I've been meaning to check it out.
It's so good. It's giving. I don't even know how to describe it. It's very empowerful.
Oh, I like that.
And it comes out on Mondays, which is the best because it's like the start of my week.
I need a Monday podcast.
And she's got like certifications and like damn near everything.
Oof.
But like, so she's like knows what she's talking about, and she makes it very personable also. It's a short, like maybe 15 minutes, I think is the longest episode I've seen. But it's really good. Shout out to Ashley at Mind Flowers. And then what are the two that you're listening to?
Oh yeah, and so Know For Sure, B. Simone's podcast with her best friend of like 20 years. I think her name's Megan Ashley. But they're also very empowering. They're kind of spiritual, but they just talk
spiritual.
About,
mine too. Yeah, Mind Flowers.
Yeah. So it's also very much like empowering in the sense that they're bringing on guests and talking about different things going on in like the culture. So they just had an episode on cheating, and they brought on that group that dropped that song with Drea in it. It's like
I know what you're talking about.
DVSN, I think is their name.
Yes.
Division. Is that what they're called? It was actually a really good interview.
I think Division is just one person though.
I think it's 2, or maybe that was just his friend. Actually, I don't know.
I could be wrong. I don't really listen to a lot of Division, so I don't know.
I don't know either. But I was surprised because I heard the song and I was like, I mean, it's a catchy song. It is crazy the content that's in it. But when he explained his side of it, I was like, okay, I get it. Yeah. And they just have really interesting people on their show, so check it out. It's really cool. And then Just Here for the Coffee is a local podcast that I've been listening to it, but they took a pause and they're back for season 2. Okay. So they are 3 girls who actually went to UAB.
Oh, go Blazers.
Go Blazers. One of them was in my sorority, so that's why I started tuning in. But they met at a coffee shop, and they all worked at the coffee shop together. And so it started as them drinking coffee and just talking about whatever. But now they all have moved on from the coffee shop. So they just like drink drinks and then just talk. So it's still great. And it's more like, I feel like, I don't know, structured, I guess, now that it's season 2. And I feel like the same with our season 2 was a lot more structured than season 1.
Yeah, and then like season 3 is more structured than season 2. Yeah.
That's how it goes. Yeah. Right? So yeah, that's also a fun one for, I guess, more college students and young people, I'd say. Okay,
awesome. Yeah. Love to see it. All right, let's get into the chapter. Wait, we gotta start doing that. That was cute. I didn't either, but like that's like the best when that happens. Oh my gosh. Stop.
We're on the same wave today.
We are very wavy today with each other, with one another.
One another.
All right. In today's essay, is please don't sit on my bed in your outside clothes.
Right, finally.
I know, that moment where you get to, like, the title and why the title is the title.
And it all clicked. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, right. All right, you want to start us off?
Yeah. Yeah, so this chapter started out really funny.
Per usual.
Yeah.
Out of the box.
It's, of course, it's Phoebe Robinson.
Yes.
But I just wasn't expecting it. And she's very relatable when she says, if you're curious about what I'm like right before I have sex.
And then she's like, my parents are reading this.
She's like, my parents don't want to even know. But if you wanted to know. And she goes into what sex is like in her brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was kind of funny because I feel the same way of like just having so many thoughts sometimes in the middle of it. And you're like, wait, oh yeah, okay, here we are again. And
I'm so weak. Well, you know, I can't relate, but but I can relate of like any type of sexual experience you're having. You're like, your brain's on 20. Overthinking. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you've like built up this expectation of it. So I guess it's like all of the pent up energy you have, and then you're in the middle of it. And sometimes I think as women, it's a lot about our pleasure. I feel like is so much, maybe this is everyone, but it's so much based on what our internal thoughts in our mind and like what's turning us on in the moment and da 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 da.
Yeah.
So if you're like thinking about something and then, you know, your brain kind of like goes down a rabbit hole of like, it could be insecurity. It could be, in her case, she's like, what are they thinking about the stuff all over my room? Like my room's a mess. It could be like I don't know, some joke that she has in her head and she's now laughing in the middle of sex, and that can make
literally
things awkward.
LOLing. Yeah,
and so I just thought that was so relatable, and I've never really heard anybody talk about it. I feel like most people, when they talk about sex, we're all like, oh, it's like, I don't know, we kind of create this fantasy of like what it would be like,
what the experience is like.
Yeah, and it's a lot more real than that. I feel like, because, you know, like random things be happening. It's two people's bodies, you know.
Yeah, and I can relate to Phoebe because I am more type A. So when she's talking about all of these thoughts, I'm like, this is me on a regular basis. Like, just all of you can't turn them off. You can't shut your brain off.
It's true.
It's damn near impossible. So I can only imagine during, like, you know, a sexual encounter or something, like, that doesn't stop. It just keeps going.
That part.
So like trying to like be in the moment and live in the moment is a little harder than the average person.
No, for sure. Our anxiety girlies get it. There's just a lot going on. And so,
and then she says, in summary, I'm old, because she was talking about how I'm guessing
relatable too.
she was getting on top and she was squatting and like everything's was cracking. Yeah.
Mood. That's me all the time. I'm like, my knee.
Not the no Megan knees.
I do not have Megan knees. I don't know what kind of knees I got, but the old kind.
I'm so weak. Yeah, and it made me think about in the morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is crack my hips.
Ooh. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's giving like, you know, age. We're not old, y'all.
We're not.
Even Phoebe, I was like, we're not old, Phoebe. We have to start being young. We're like, we're young, because if we speak it, then we are. But I get it. Yeah. Energy, though.
Energy. And then she talks about her parents. And this is how we're kind of leading into the don't sit on my bed in your outside clothes. Because I think in the majority of black households.
I know, it's like a stark contrast.
Yes.
Because I didn't grow up in this type of environment.
Yeah, that's why I said typically. In most. Which I was like, we're going to get into it this chapter because you did not have that experience. It was very different.
Hello?
But basically, you know, if you go out when you were younger and you would go outside and play.
Yeah.
When you came back inside, your parents were like, don't touch anything. Do not sit anywhere in your outside clothes. Like, go take a shower. You smell like outside. I feel like that's something else that's very, like, a black phrase. Like, you smell like outside.
Yeah.
It's a very, it's something that, you know, you can't just say to everybody and they're going to get it, which she talks about too. And so she was saying how her parents basically did the same thing. Don't sit on my bed, don't sit anywhere in your outside clothes, and just how they were very old fashioned in some regards. Like she was saying, they still go to Redbox kiosk when they have Netflix and Hulu and HBO Max, but they still want.
I love it.
Parents. Those old school parents. Yep. And I was weak when she was like, they love keeping track of how long it's been since they were sick.
Oh my God.
It reminds me, I think it's a Geico. No, it's a Progressive commercial where it's like, how to not be like your parents 101.
Oh God.
All of those series of ones.
Yeah, those would be cracking me up.
Where it's like, you don't have to get to your flight 2 hours before. And it's like, don't be like your parents. And I feel like she's listing all of the things that like we're like, yep, my parents are just like that.
But she takes some things with her. Like from what they do, you know. She's not as well, the thing is, she's like, oh, my parents are crazy. But then she leads into this whole, like, Phoebe Isms of, like, the things she does that are weird. And I'm like, you're just as type A and weird as your parents are.
It's just a different type of weird.
Exactly. And I feel like that's literally all of us.
Yeah. But I love how she says, and I think everyone is like that. We all have guiding principles that govern our lives in big ways and small that don't always make sense to other people. Those guiding principles can become set in stone out of habit or because something just resonates with you on a deep spiritual level and you don't feel complete without it. Whatever the case may be, it means something to you, so you hold on to it. And that's on page 181 at the top.
Oh, perfect.
And it made me think, like, yes, we all have these little quirks or these little things that shape us as a person that we kind of live by. And I really like how she's tying that in to the whole essence of these essays.
Right.
And how these things have shaped her life and where she is now. So I really appreciated that. But yes, we get into, like, personal principles. And, like, I saw you had a point where it's like, what are house rules, and you say no shoes, I say no shoes too.
And a lot of it has to do with my partner, you know. I feel like as you grow up, you know, so much of like what your parents and your childhood, like life and lessons and things you learned, turn into like what is my new family, like my chosen family. What are the rules that we want to do together? And so my partner is kind of type A. Let me just say straight up type A. I mean, he's half black, so like there is that side of him that is like no outside clothes on my bed. He also grew up in New York, and I feel like if you grow up in a bigger city, it's dirtier outside. Yeah, I mean, it's dirty outside regardless. But I see what you're saying. Like, it's even more dirty in a bigger metropolitan city area. Yeah, because she mentions it like, you know, when she's having a night out and she brings someone back home, in her head she's like, please don't sit on my outside. Please don't sit on my bed in your outside clothes. Please don't sit on my bed in your outside clothes. Because she's thinking about, like, they've just been on the subway. Who knows? God knows where. And you're right, like, anywhere. But I get how, like, people love saying New York's so dirty. So I get why she's like, everything else can be dirty. She's like, I'm really not super clean like my parents. I'm a little messy. But I've stuck with that one. Yeah, and I used to be not, like, against it. But I, like, had a harder time understanding because she even goes into all of these people who are in her comments talking about, what do you mean? Like, what does that, not having clothes on your outside, what is outside clothes? Oh, my God. What does that even mean? People are so extra, though. They are. But I just want to be contrarian. I used to hate it when I was younger, obviously, because I was like, but I'm just going to change into new clothes. Like, I'm not even taking a shower, so I'm still dirty. But now I get the concept is, like, your clothes is what's touching everything. Like, your, like, skin, body. See, it's not really coming in. This is, like, a barrier. So it's like, this is now dirty, but, like, now this is dirty. But it's not when it's being covered like this. So you put on a separate outfit that has not been outside touching all the things. Yeah. And so I get it more. I do get it. I get it. there's levels to it.
There's levels to it for sure.
And I'll say when I met Alana, I was like not on this level where I'm at now. I'm still not even to where like Lana is, but I was on a different level. I was sleeping in my bed in my outside clothes, in the bed.
Not even on
jeans.
Top.
In jeans. I would take naps. I would walk back out the door. I would come back in, pass out. It was just a ritual. Everybody knew she does this.
Which why we didn't sit on your bed.
Nobody did. Yeah, and it's just so interesting, like, growing up. I was like, I guess my parents didn't have that energy. I was like, I don't know if it's my parents' thing, if it's an African thing. I don't know. I don't know. So it's just questions I have.
She's like, I've got questions.
I still haven't gotten the answers, but, you know.
I don't know. I think it's a lifestyle thing, too.
I guess so.
But, like, that's even because I'm thinking of Kristen, because that's who I think of, like.
Kristen is the one who made me, like, look at myself.
Yeah.
Really. Like, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, she made me look at myself.
I was like, I'm dirty.
When it came to washcloths. Because, well, first of all, you didn't even use washcloths like you do now before you met us.
I still use loofahs.
Something other than your hands. That's all we ask. I mean, loofah's not even the most sanitary when you think about it.
They were mad at me about using a loofah.
Still am. But because you can't wash a loofah. You can wash a washcloth, but you can't wash a loofah. Conversation for another day.
No, I know. I know what you mean.
And it just sits there and grows bacteria and just, it's defeating the whole purpose of taking a shower to get clean. I don't know, like
it's a mental block, really.
She said it's a mental block.
You just have to get past it. Think about it.
But I use washcloths, but Kristen uses, like, she taught me, like, you need to use a new washcloth every time you take a shower.
Yeah.
But I didn't grow up like that. It was like every few days you switched it out.
I mean,
and now that I think about it, you're using the washcloth to clean off the current dirt.
Yeah.
So then if you just put it back up there and take another shower.
It's the same as a loofah.
Yeah, you're just putting the dirt and now it's more dirt.
I feel like it's worse than a loofah, though, because as a rag, I mean, my thing is you can wash and rinse out a rag. So as long as you're doing that, I feel like if you're in desperate times, that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in desperate times. But now I use a new washcloth every time I take a shower.
I've been going through a lot, y'all, and sometimes it's just, I think it's a luxury to be able to just do that so often. So it's like really a privilege, and I don't think it should be like you're gross. Yeah. And there shouldn't be as much stigma on like you're gross if you do these things, because at the end of the day, it's a cultural thing.
That's true. That's true.
When you think about it, because at the end of the day, like I felt shamed, which is fine, but like going forward, I just feel like I wouldn't do that to somebody.
Yeah, and I feel like it wasn't intention. But I get like that's your experience, like that's how it came off to you. But I don't think that was the intention. It was like because to me it was like, oh snap, like let me think about this, and like because I can switch it out, like oh this actually is way more sanitary and probably a better option for me. Now like you said, like do what you want at the end of the day.
Everyone's
like do what you're comfortable with, but in your own home,
you have the
right. But and I get what you're saying though, with like, because it is one of those things where you could get roasted hard for.
I got roasted hard, okay? And I'm okay with being roasted. Like, I'm not super sensitive, but looking back, like, when I thought about where I came from, it just made more sense, because I was like, my parents didn't even have, like, a shower in Africa. It wasn't like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Like, they didn't even have loofahs.
Right. Like, you couldn't even have a loofah.
It's like, you're dirty, but it's like, yeah, I'm also like not privileged.
Yeah. No, I think the privilege part of it too is another thing. It's definitely something to consider also. But yes, we were getting into the Phoebe Isms.
Oh my God.
That she says.
So funny.
And so basically she is now our childless auntie. She's adopting all of us.
Yes.
And she literally says, as you can see, many people out in the world, and maybe even you, need my goddamn help. So I'm assembling some of my most precious knowledge, opinions, and hot takes that I've accumulated throughout my life and sharing them with you. You can let me know in 30 years or so which of these have stuck with you. And it reminded me of Poor Minds, how they're like, send in your stuff and let us know if we helped you or if we fucked up your life.
That's really how it be.
Yeah.
Sometimes. It's like us in college, like the blind leading the blind.
The blind leading the blind, literally. So the first Phoebe Ism is rich people ain't allowed to post nothing kitchen related online no mo.
Oh my God.
And she kind of goes into how, you know, these celebrities, they're trying to be relatable, but just own up to the fact that you're not relatable anymore.
You're not.
You are like kind of, you were saying, like, you're in a whole other tax bracket than I am, or like
Beyonce talking about quitting her job. Like, babe,
yeah,
you can't tell us to quit our jobs. We're not living the same life. I will be bankrupt tomorrow.
She said, you will see me file bankruptcy tomorrow.
So it's just different. It's even like when you turn on your camera in like a Zoom meeting and you're like, oh, look at their living room.
Yeah.
What y'all doing over there?
What y'all making? And why am I not making it?
Are we working at the same company?
Right. Literally. So, yes. And she was talking about during quarantine, especially, all these celebrities were making all of these dishes. But it's like, okay, you need chicken and rice and flour, and then some like very specific ingredient that you would need that's not in the average pantry.
Right.
And these meals that you have to go to like 5 different grocery store just to make this one meal. Like she was talking about prawns. And it's like, who just has fresh prawns? Like, that's so random.
Like, I can't even picture a prawn. I can't.
But for these celebrities, and she also made the point, like, y'all probably have people go and get this stuff for you.
So they're like, oh yeah, just go grab it.
Yeah, but it's like, babe, you're not even, that's not even what you're doing.
Know where to go.
You don't know what aisle to walk down. So anywho,
right.
I literally put the note, celebrities need to BFFR. Be fucking
for
for real.
Real talk.
Yes. Okay, you want to do the next one?
Yes. Okay, Phoebeism number 2. It is absolutely ignorant yet completely acceptable to wear blue light glasses outside your house. Oh, I'm having a realization of why you made me read this one. Because I do relate to this, Phoebe.
I remember.
You remember, Alana, because I went through a glasses phase. I, too, have decent enough vision to not wear glasses.
Yeah, some of us with 20/20 who actually need the glasses we have on and don't get to see for free.
That was another thing I got roasted for, by the way. Because everyone was mad at me for like wanting to wear glasses, but I just thought it was a cool fashion statement.
No, she even says like glasses signal someone who is smart, respected, and studious, which is how I viewed glasses.
Yeah, you give very smart, very respectable, very studious.
Yeah.
When you wear your glasses. I wanted to look that way.
She wanted the look.
I wanted the look to just put it on. But anyway, mine hurt my eyes so bad that like they would give me headaches.
Oh.
So I was like, this is not it.
It's like counterproductive.
And then I was like, actually, I don't even know if I like it. It was really one of those just straight up phases.
Yeah. Not a phase. I'm so weak.
But I did go get checked. And I've gotten checked several times just because I'm like, is today the day?
Not you're waiting on the day where you actually need Moving on. I can't with you right now.
As an adult, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, I would have to pay for it.
Yeah.
It's like a real expense.
Yeah, because I remember the day when I have no longer had 20/20 vision. I was in class and I was looking at the smart board. Yes, it was junior year in my French class, and I was looking at the smart board and I couldn't see.
Straight up.
Like I could see, but I was like,
the day before you could? It was that quick. Like, you woke up blind.
Stop funny.
I don't understand how it works. I was a business major.
But like I'm sure I was doing this before, but that was the day it clicked. Like, maybe I should like
get checked.
tell a parent that I might need to get checked for glasses. And in that same French class is where my mom dropped off my new glasses at the front office and they brought them to me.
Stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not even like that bad. It's like it all happened in French class.
For me, it was Spanish. But yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah, but
Phoebe,
she does the same thing. She likes the look.
Yeah, she loved the look. Phoebe-ism number 3. For the love of God, wear matching underwear. And you were upset about this one too. But I don't wear matching underwear because I'm too lazy.
Why?
I'm too lazy.
Well, that's what she goes into is like, well, she says, I believe that people who wear mismatched underwear every single day of their lives are the same people who are the worst teammates to have in a game of Pictionary, which... That's so specific. I was like, so Phoebe, specific. You are really type A because why does it even bother you? I've never once been like, oh, that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I just appreciate the human body more than you, Phoebe. But
okay, chill out.
But like when I see a naked person in their panties or whatever, I'm not like looking at the panties. I'm like looking at what's underneath. Like, take them off.
Yeah, like that's always the argument, and I think has been an even more social argument, like on Twitter and stuff, like a conversation where guys are like, we don't care. It's coming off anyway. But women,
as a woman, do you care? I mean, I guess it's not even really
I care
what to match. It's just one piece for them. For a man.
For a man. Yeah, but I sometimes do put on a cute little set.
Yeah.
Not for anybody else, but for me, because it makes me feel good, especially like while I'm getting ready. Because when I get ready, I'm like basically naked.
Right.
Until like I put my clothes on at the very end. So like when I have like my little matching thing and I'm in front of the mirror, I'm like, I'm that girl. And so,
it is a confidence booster.
It is a confidence booster.
But to me, I'm like, that's rich bitch shit.
Having matching sets.
For you to get the Fenty set.
Yeah. But sometimes.
All sets? You have 7 days a week of sets? I'm sorry.
But honestly, if you think about it, it's economical sometimes to get the set. Because you could get a set of underwear and then get a set of bras. Well, why not get the matching set that go together? It's probably just about the same price.
I guess so.
In some circumstances.
Yeah, I don't know, y'all. But I was like, I'm opting out because I just don't even want to wear a bra, period. And I was like, well, Phoebe probably has big titties. But
she has a 36A.
She was like, I've got a 36A. I was like, and you're still paying for bras? Like, that's your one, like, get out of jail free. Like, that's the one perk, you know?
But maybe it's something that makes her feel more feminine by having a bra on.
I just feel like that's you.
Yeah, no,
why does everyone else
Phoebe-isms. Phoebe-isms. She prefaced.
I was taking this so personally.
You were.
In the notes, I was like, I can't believe it. I was like, I would never even take something straight off the fucking mannequin.
And to me reading the notes, I'm like, oh God, here we go. All right. Let me already come with my rebuttals.
Y'all, I literally put hashtag free the nipple
in our
comments, in our notes. Like, because she's like, I'm an activist every time that I teach a man how to do da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, how to take a that made me laugh, though.
I'm an activist for not wearing a bra and wearing mismatched sets.
I'm sure this is like her little quirks, and it's not the end all be all. That she's like, you know what?
Phoebe,
you want to free the titty, free the titty.
She just goes so deep.
But this is her moment to go so deep.
I know. It's like if I had a book, I would have a chapter like this too.
And people would be like, bitch, what? The same way
That's
that you
me
were.
right
yeah,
now.
The same way. Right. Okay, so the next Phoebe-ism number 4. Truly, no one cares that your inbox is down to 0, so shut the hell up. And I had feelings on this one, only because one of my personal isms is I hate having notifications on my apps.
Turn them off.
No, but like, I want the notification.
Oh, you do.
But the like saying you got an Instagram DM, it has like the little 1 on the Instagram app saying that like you have a notification that you need to check.
Oh, so you like to have the notification.
I like to have the notification, but I don't like it sitting there because it messes with my anxiety, because it's just like, oh, I have this thing that I need to do. And so like having multiple apps with multiple things where it's like you have 4 emails and you have an Instagram and you've got 20 messages. And
It is
got
overwhelming.
It's very overwhelming, which is why I'm always trying to like clear it so I don't have any notifications. But then sometimes like I'll look at messages, but I won't open it purposely so that I'll respond to it later. But then it gives me anxiety when I still have the little notification thing, but like it's a lot.
I used to be like that, and then I turned them off.
She said that that's why you don't respond.
I respond.
You do respond 20 years later. Not always.
I respond.
She responds, y'all. I'm just being dramatic.
Boundaries.
Boundaries. That's tea. But that's like even when we had we still have our shared.
Yeah, boundaries.
Yeah, we have a shared notes in the notes app. And like Samra would like have a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd have a reminder that went off every day, and like she wouldn't check it. And so I'm like itching over here.
We had to.
And I was like, this isn't even mine. Like it's not for me. Yeah.
Eventually, Apple put a feature where you could delegate a shared reminder thing. So that really saved our lives. Thanks, Apple, because she was like,
I had to come to her and be like,
either
please
get this done or take it off the list.
Or put it on your own personal reminders, because it's not even for me.
I know.
Boundaries.
No, yeah, right. Everybody operates different. So I feel it.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to do the last one? Oh, wait. I think there's 2 more. So you can do the next 2.
Okay. So the next Phoebe Ism, number 5, is eating a cough drop is for every occasion, not just when you're sick.
Which I was like, this is very niche.
Yes. I don't really have much to say about this one.
Me either. Let's move on. But
Yeah.
just know that Phoebe eats a cough drop literally all the time.
Yeah, it's funny. If you have the book, read it, because it's funny, but I just don't have much to say.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually, I was going to say, yes, you do. You made
I
it
just
know.
realized. Okay, I do have a thing. Okay, so whatever your annoying thing is, like that your partner, it gets under their skin a little bit, but it's like not deep enough for you to like really change your whole. Like, this is who you are at the end of the day. So it's like you kind of pick your battles in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
One of their battles is that Phoebe will, before they go to sleep, once the lights are turned off and her partner is getting ready to sleep soundly, she will unwrap a cough drop, and then she will chew the cough drop, crunch it, because she doesn't want to choke. She doesn't want to choke. She's about to go to sleep, but it's an addiction. She's got to have her cough drop.
Yeah.
So she'll crunch it, and then they go to sleep. So it's just like a little thing. It's like a little quirk. And her partner doesn't enjoy it, but he's just vibing with her because he loves her.
Love.
And I have a few of my own things that get under my partner's skin. And,
And the world keeps turning.
It does. And we still love each other despite the flaws. So keep doing it. That's basically what she said.
Yeah. And then I think there's this one, and then there's one more.
Oh, okay. Phoebeism number 6. Dogs aren't my best friend. We have humans for that.
And she went hard on this one. She's like, I don't want a dog. I don't see their purpose. Like, no.
Well, she did say if your purpose is a dog.
Right, your purpose.
Go off.
Right.
But there's no part of her that wants, that's like a cynic, that wants a dog, that, one dog's going to change her. She just does, no. Period, point blank, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch it. Don't want it on me.
Yeah, like she even said, now I cried at Marley and Me. I feel things.
Fair.
But,
everybody has to cry that one.
Yeah. So the last Phoebe-ism, number 7. It's not true love if your partner doesn't get weird with you.
out of all of them, Phoebe, this is the one I agree with the most. I'm glad you left me on this note. I was like, yeah, I have nothing to say here.
I'm so
I agree. Because you're like a very opinionated ass bitch, and me too. So I just feel like we would have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. But do you want to go deeper into
partners getting weird with you?
Yeah.
I mean, what else is there to say except the weirder it is, the better, right? I feel like...
Because she's talking about her experience where they're in Paris, and it's her first experience with a bidet.
Oh.
And she's, like, so excited, but her partner's like, this isn't that big of a whoop.
But I'm European. This is normal for me.
Yeah, but she makes him stand in there, like, eye contact, while she's using the bidet for the first time. And, like, having this experience with him. And it's like, you have to, that's a relationship ass shit right there. You have to really love somebody to do that.
Yeah. And I don't want to say more because it's TMI. So I'll just leave it at that.
Great. Okay. Anywho's, I'm going to read this last little ditty that she has in here.
Okay.
She says, wow, I covered a lot. And I probably have way too many opinions, but I've made it this far in life, so I must be doing something right. Thank you for letting me be your surrogate auntie. It's been an honor to overshare about my sex life. And if we were in the same room, I'd give you a handful of halls and a $50 for your troubles and send you on your merry little way. Anyway, I hope you learned something, and next time we hang out, I promise to be 3% less ignorant. Oh, one more thing. If you still have any questions about this whole sitting on your or anyone else's bed in your outside clothes, send them my way. I'm honored to be the Dr. Ruth of interior hygiene.
I love it.
I love it. It's just, it doesn't get better. I mean, it's going to probably, but I've been enjoying this book so much. And the next essay is, we don't need another white savior.
Oh, I saw that. I was like, ooh.
I said, shoot.
I wonder what she's going to get into.
That we don't need another white savior.
Yeah, that part.
Because it's facts.
Yeah, that's true.
But anywho, this has been another episode of She Will Read, your favorite bite-sized book club podcast. I'm Alana.
I'm Samra.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.